I'm Peter Marks, former New York Times and Washington Post theater critic, now artist in podcast residence.
And I'm Elizabeth Vincentelli, and I write theater reviews and features, and I commit other acts of journalism for the New York Times. And Peter, you just made me break just now, which is a subject that may or may not come up in our conversation. We're here for another edition of Marks and Vincentelli, your go-to spot for theater conversation.
And today we're conversing with the one and only Anne Harada. And if you don't know anything about if you know anything about inspirationally hilarious comic actors, you know the name Anne Harada. I'm reading this. She's going to chat with us about her current assignment as one of the zanies in what we have to regard as the zaniest show on Broadway these days, Schmigadoon.
Yes, you're absolutely right that has been scientifically established that it is the zaniest show on Broadway right now. I don't think I'm overstating by saying that Anne is going to be one of the most beloved actors in New York City. And when I saw Schmigadoon, she got entrance applause. She will very modestly say it's because people recognize her from TV, because she was also in the TV version of Schmigadoon. But no, people who go to the theater in New York love Anne Harada. She's such a great presence on our stages. So she's been in Schmigadoon, the musical parody by Cinco Paul, on two platforms. So first, the version that ran on Apple TV Plus for 2 seasons. She played 2 different characters in there, and we'll talk about that too. And now she's bringing back the sunny but very frustrated Florence Menlove, who's the wife of the mayor of Schmigadoon, who's played by Brad Oscar, on stage. Schmigadoon is a stand-up of musicals of yore, and in the case of the Broadway production, more specifically directed by Christopher Gattelli, the musicals of the Rodgers and Hammerstein era, so roughly early 40s to late 50s. That's the kind of target. But I will also specify that if you are not familiar with those shows, Schmigadoon is still very, very funny. The jokes land whether you know the references or not. It's just a very funny show.
Yeah, that's the art here, which is that it stands alone and it stands as this loving parody, send-up, whatever the word you want to use, lampoon of that period of musicals. And I dare say that anybody who's been in a high school musical will probably know at least 1 or 2 of the shows that they reference.
For sure.
And we'll talk about the art of the lampoon and her part in creating it, and also about some of her past roles. She probably is best recalled as the original Christmas Eve. That's the character, not the holiday, in the Tony-winning Avenue Q. I have known her work since 1998, when we were both preteens, probably, when she played Trina in the National Asian American Theater Company's revival of William Finn's Falsettoland, a production in which all the parts, usually performed by white actors, were played brilliantly by Asian actors.
Yes, and that's one of the things she's going to talk about with us is, what kind of shows and what kind of parts do you end up playing when you're an Asian actor? So since Falsettoland, and especially Avenue Q, Anne has been working very steadily on stage and on TV. So yes, she was in Schmigadoon. Before that, you may remember her as the stage manager in the TV series Smash.
Oh, right.
She was pretty much like one of the kind of anchors of sanity in that. And as usual with stage manager, always looking beleaguered and keeping everything running.
Yeah. I was curious also to talk to Anne about the roles for Asian American women, because she has to rank among the groundbreakers for Asian American women in musical comedy. I mean, there were obviously precursors, people who were forerunners, but in terms of forging new pathways for Asian American women actresses, I think she's got to be considered in the vanguard. So let's get to it. So welcome, Anne. It's great to have you on our podcast. We're all giggling because we had some technical difficulties, but we've come through that trial and tribulation, and we're talking. So, Anne, congrats on Schmigadoon. So my lead-in question is, have you always been funny? Because you have been doing comedy on stage, in musicals, in all kinds of situations. Were you always attracted to humor? Was that something that came at you naturally way back in Honolulu?
Of course. I think all funny people are attracted to funny things and care about comedy and all of that. But when you're a little kid, you only kind of know that you're funny when you say something and everybody laughs, but you don't. I never thought of myself as like a comedian. It's not like I was out there cracking jokes in class or,
Uh-huh.
Entertaining the masses a la Robin Williams or anything like that.
Right.
But I knew that I was funny and I could land jokes. And so, whatever, it didn't seem like any big deal at the time. But now it's been helpful in my career. So I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, no, I just wondered because some people just have a gene for it. Some people just naturally know timing. They know how to approach a line so that it maximizes the impact for a listener, who's on your wavelength. The rhythm is right. And it just seems like you've got that. And that's obviously is partly intelligence and all those other things. But I just wondered if that was something you had gravitated to as an actor, or it had just come along as part of.
Yeah, it came along as part of the deal. I think as a young person, if you watch a lot of comedy, which I did, just because I was attracted to Mel Brooks movies and all comedy really, but I never really thought of myself like, oh, I'm a comedian and I should pursue this. In fact, I used to just be horrified when my friends would start stand-up, careers, and I would have to go watch them in front of various brick walls around town. And I would just be like, I hate comedy. I never want to, go through this.
You weren't a stand-up.
No. But as far as being a comedic actor, I think that's just part of being an actor. To me, if you have timing and you understand situations, that's just an actor,
I think the timing is the hardest thing to get because that's something that is so hard. You have to be so attuned to the others around you.
Right.
And it's something that, to me, that would be the hardest thing to teach. I mean, it's very unfair. Like you have it or you don't.
Right.
You can sharpen it, you can improve it, but reading that room and knowing exactly when to really go for it and how to modulate that moment, I think that's a lot harder than a dramatic role.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. Well, you've seen people, mostly everybody can get through a dramatic role, but not everybody can get through a comedy. And we've seen many, many actors try and fail. So whatever, I'm lucky I have it. I have that gene. If it means I don't get to play Hedda, well, that's what it means.
But you could also play Hedda because I think it's
of course I could. I mean, I don't want to, but I could.
But I think it's a lot easier to go from comedy to drama than the reverse. Like,
Of course.
the reverse route, we've seen a lot of terrible accidents.
Definitely.
Did you have the theater bug? So for audiences out there, Anne grew up in Honolulu, went to the Punahou School.
Punahou School.
The Punahou School.
Punahou School, yes.
Thank you for that correction. I can't think of a place that's geographically farther from Broadway than Hawaii. And I just wondered, how young were you when the bug got you?
Well, my parents were really good about taking me to see things that came into town. I remember seeing, a touring production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown when I was very young. I remember seeing a production of The Sound of Music when I was very young. But also I just went to school plays and community theater shows and things like that. I always loved the theater and wanted to go see things. But I didn't really get involved myself until maybe middle school or what do you call that now? 7th and 8th grade, 9th grade, around there.
Junior high, whatever.
Junior high. And I don't know. There's just something about it. I'm an only child and I always sort of felt like I wanted to have a family of like-minded peers. And so the theater was that for me, the first place I found people that kind of understood what I liked and what I was talking about. And, how does anybody get involved in the theater?
Mm-hmm.
Did you formally study it or did you get to it in a more roundabout way?
I formally studied it at college. I was a theater arts major and a English and American literature major at Brown. But at the time, Brown did not have any kind of training conservatory program. So it's basically just, we read plays, we had acting class. It was not what I would call and then we had dance and we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything like that.
I went undergraduate at Yale, and Yale didn't consider acting, oddly enough, given that it had a drama school, but for undergraduates, it did not consider it an academic pursuit. They thought of it as a practical, kind of vocational kind of training. So they did have a few acting classes that I took, and I was a theater studies program, but not a conservatory program.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds similar.
So did you come to New York after college?
I did. And I got an internship with a Broadway producer who had also attended Brown. She was looking for a, graduating senior who was going to answer phones and make copies. And I was like, I'm right here. I'll do it, and that's sort of how it all started. I worked on a big flop called Sleight of Hand. Do you remember this show? 1987, probably maybe before your time. Written by John Hielmeyer, who wrote Agnes of God.
Oh, Agnes of God,
wow.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, okay. Agnes of God. Yes. This, no. And it ran for a week, I guess, at the then Court Theater.
Whoa.
Starring Harry Groner and Jeffrey DeMunn.
Oh, my God. Harry Groner.
And you're like, I never heard of it. That's okay.
No, and Harry Groner wasn't he in Crazy for You?
He was, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
he
yes.
was.
After.
Yeah.
Right, after this.
Yes.
What was it like to get started like that, and then in a week it was over? Were you...
It's a good lesson in the transience of theater, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it was just a thrilling experience just to work kind of on Broadway in any capacity. And as I say, I was really just an intern in her office. But I got to type the scripts, and I got to make the copies and take them to the actors' houses and do stuff like that, sit in on the auditions. I got to go to the meetings where they designed the poster. I learned so much about the whole business of putting on a show without any of the personal kind of and my job is at stake kind of feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was a huge lesson. And because of that experience, I met Meg Simon, who was a casting director. And I invited her to some cabaret I did in the Village, at the Duplex many years ago. And she came and she saw it. And then she had me in mind when she had to recast M. Butterfly. They were looking for a replacement for Lori Tan Chin. And she brought me in and I got the job. And that was my first Broadway show.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah. And it's all because of a relationship that, I would take stuff to her office, we said hi, whatever. And then she came to see my cabaret act. I was in her mind. They needed a short Asian woman. It all just sort of goes like this. And that was my first Broadway show.
M. Butterfly, holy shit.
M. Butterfly, as a replacement, not in the original cast, but,
well, so what?
To have that kind of be your first Broadway show,
that's
such a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both speechless. We're going to get to Schmigadoon, but I was really curious. I think most people know you for two things. The theater goers know you for Avenue Q, and the TV watchers know you for Smash.
Of course.
So let's talk a bit about Avenue Q, because it's kind of weird now to talk about that show, but it's almost weirdly easy to forget how huge it was and how the song titles were catchphrases. I mean, people were singing that show. At the time, it was everywhere. It was really a great example of the little show that could. And so why did you get on board with that? What was your trajectory with that show? Because it was a huge moment for your career.
Oh, nobody ever heard of me before. And that's fine. I didn't expect them to. I was completely and still am very much, I feel, a journeyman actress.
Oh, the night I saw Schmigadoon, you got entrance applause, which made me so happy.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
I love to think of those people we saw the TV show. There aren't that many people who saw the TV show as we're learning on a nightly basis. And I'm like, okay, great. Good for you. You spent the money to get Apple TV, good for you. There are so few of them out there, honestly.
Really?
It feels like now doing the Broadway show, yeah. I feel like so many of the people never saw it. have no concept of it are coming in cold. And I'm like, great that you came,
Oh my God.
All right, we're going to talk about Schmigadoon, but wait a minute.
we're talking about Avenue Q. Okay, so Avenue Q for me started when Bobby Lopez and Jeff Marks were in the BMI workshop. And, the BMI workshop, every once in a while, they present songs, right, to their class.
Mm-hmm.
And they had written a bunch of stuff for this children's television idea that they had in their head. And they asked their classmates, does anybody know an Asian actress? I need one to come in and sing in class. And Amanda Green, who I'd gone to college with, basically raised her hand and said, I got somebody. Okay. So then they called me and I was like, sure, I'll come in, And I show up and I learn everyone's a little bit racist. And like from that day on, I never let anybody else do a presentation. Like, that's the thing about me. Obviously, it's like, if you let me come in on the ground floor, I'm going to stay. If I like it, because, and that's what happened at Schmigadoon too. They were like, well, we'll probably do it on stage, but not with the TV people. And I was like, why not? I'm right here.
All right, but wait.
They would turn around and they'd be like, oh my God, Annie's still there. Like,
That's still here.
What?
All right, but Anne, can we just Christmas Eve is the character you played in Avenue Q, and you were asked to sing a song called "If You Rub Someone." I'm using the jokey, stereotypical language that obviously permeates the show in terms of its kind of political incorrectness. How did you feel as an actress for an Asian American woman making her way in musical theater, when the stereotypes were so ingrained for what an audience, a white audience especially, would expect? You were coming in and exploding some of those, but also making fun of that stereotype. How did you navigate that? Did you have to inject some level of your own reality into the room and explain to, even to the creators of the show what it meant for you to be embodying this character? Is this way too much layering on of devices I'm giving you here? But how did you know what I'm saying? I want to know what this was like for you.
Okay, all right. 1, extremely easy. 2, first of all, at all points, I felt like they listened to me if I had an issue with some sort of thing that I found incredibly offensive.
Right. There you go.
I'm very hard to offend, 1. So I didn't find anything about it incredibly offensive, except that I requested, after a while, I tried to decipher the words on the page. I was like, Jeff Whitty, just write it in standard English and let me put the accent on it.
Ooh, I like that.
I have to read all the L's
Right.
and the R's on the lines. I'm like, what the hell is this line saying?
Right.
I could not figure it out. And I was just like, just let me do it. I can do it, And also, I remember at one point they had written some incidental music like that sounded very much like da na 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 na.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, and I said, Jason, the director, I said, Jason, could we just lose kind of this chinky dinky doo kind of like music? And he was like, totally. So if I ever raised my hand and went like this, I think is crossing a line, they were totally cool with it. And I very rarely had to say that because I know where Jeff Whitty was coming from because he based that character on a relative of his who obviously was not Asian at all, but did have a problem with English as a second language, right? So for me, it's like the humor of this is not about, oh, she's Asian and she has sort of a ching chong kind of accent. It's all about somebody who's learned a second language and has that kind of issues. And for me, I mean, a lot of people were like, aren't you offended by this accent? I'm like, no, because people have accents, sorry, people in the world have accents and it doesn't mean they're any less than everybody else. And the way she's written in the play, she's the smartest person on Avenue Q. So for me, I was just like, I'm not mad about it. And I don't know why everybody else is mad about it if I'm not mad about it.
You gave permission.
In this world that we are in today, people can get mad about just about anything. And I find that, especially the young people, and they have complete rights to feel this way, but I remember doing a concert of South Pacific at Aspen Theater Festival. And they were so mad at me for playing Bloody Mary and for having, again, a character with an accent who, is maybe not behaving in the most scrupulous way and is trying to like kind of sell her daughter off. Like, whatever.
Right.
To me, I'm like, but everything is context. Like, that's what happened. We're talking about a historical period in time. We're not trying to intimate that this is something that happens now, or this is how people would behave now, or like this is a good thing necessarily. It's like, but
Right.
sorry, this happened right after the war. And James Michener saw this person. I mean, to me, it's like we're trying to present something that's more or less historically accurate. That doesn't bother me. And I don't know why it bothers you. That they were just so offended by there's somebody with an accent on stage. And I was like,
Interesting.
I don't know what to tell you. People have accents. And I've always thought, well, Christmas Eve speaks for herself. Like everything's on the page. I don't think any kind of accent on top of it makes her any whatever, better or worse. That's just who she is. And also, if Christmas Eve does not have an accent, then there is absolutely no point to her participating in a song called Everyone's a Little Bit Racist.
Right.
If you don't have something that people can sort of like point and go like, you're different.
Right.
I'm just sort of like, guys, I don't know where to go with this. To me, Christmas Eve has an accent. I like it. I'm proud of her. And that's how I feel. And maybe it's not, politically correct, but I'm sorry. I'm not ashamed of her, and I'm not ashamed of Avenue Q at all. I think it's a really good show.
It was an amazing performance.
It was a great performance.
Let's get to Schmigadoon.
Sure.
Actually, I just realized that there's currently on Broadway, there's you and Marla Mindell, and you were both in Cinderella.
Yes.
So we're having two alums from Cinderella,
That
which I
is
had very
correct.
much. And it was Laura Osnes, I think it was. Was it
Yes.
Laura Osnes? Yeah.
Yes, Laura was Cinderella.
It's a really fun. Oh my God, who had done? Someone had like rewritten the book, and like someone.
Douglas Carter Bean.
Oh, of course, yes, the master rewriter, the book doctor, the book doctor to the stars.
Doctor to the stars.
Okay, so how do you fall into the Cinco Paul, who wrote all the songs and co-created Schmigadoon, the TV show? How do you fall into that orbit?
I auditioned for the TV show. I didn't know him before that. And, when the auditions were happening, it was during the pandemic. And I, got like you do, you get your audition from your agent, say, Telsey called, do you want to be seen for this? Okay. Well, submit a song, submit a, recording of you singing a, Golden Age song. Okay. You submit the song, then they're like, all right, great. You have a callback. Now you have to read these sides, whatever. It's like normal. And then I had a Zoom callback with Telsey, which I always say, like, it was during the pandemic. I was in the basement of my mother-in-law's house on Cape Cod because that's where her, you know what I mean? That's where the computer setup was. And I had no screen. I had no fancy anything. I did it like in the basement. And Bernie says to me, wow, Anne, nice ironing board. Because that's what she could see behind me.
Was it already for the part that you end up playing?
Yes, it was for Florence. Yeah.
It was for Florence. Okay. Because sometimes like you audition for something and then you end up in
it's a general.
something else. But that was for her. So what were your first thoughts about the show? Because you have done your share of Golden Age. We were just talking about Cinderella.
And South Pacific.
And South Pacific.
Yes.
You've done those shows, and now you're in a show that, I've seen it called a satire, and it's not quite that, because I think it's more like a stand-up.
Yeah.
Because clearly there's so much love in there. And of course, satire can be loving, but it is very much a tribute, but a very barbed one. A barbed tribute, I would say, to those Golden Age shows.
Well, if you're somebody who cares about the musical theater, like I do, this is the sort of thing you just want to be a part of. I desperately wanted to be a part of a show that would make fun of Carousel and, all the other things. And Avenue Q, in a way, it's the same sort of thing. It's like you're sending up in a very loving way something that is very dear to you. You know, we all grew up with Sesame Street and whatever, all of those kind of children's television workshop shows of like, this is how to be a good person. And you're also going to learn how to spell and count, right? And so that Avenue Q was about, and these are lessons on how to be a person in the world, how to grow up and live by yourself in a city. And so Schmigadoon, you know, it's like, and this is how the world would be if you lived in a golden age musical. And wouldn't that be great and also bad? You know? You know, but like all the good things about it are really good. And I think that there's something beautiful about musicals. I mean, I know I love doing them. And that I often wish I did live in a world where people broke into song and made big, intricate dances at the drop of a hat, because I think it would just be so much better than what I actually do in my life, right? Just trying to get to work. So to me, Schmigadoon is a pure love letter to the form. And I am so proud of it and proud to be part of it. And to be, again, with other people that think the same way. Like, that's really why I'm in the theater, right? Is to make friends with people who, like, get me. And Schmigadoon is like that.
I'm really curious. You know, it's interesting. As you're talking and I'm thinking, well, the unusual thing here is, you know, mostly actresses, actors in musicals, it starts there and then it's transformed into cinema later on, and they maybe get to reprise their role. Here, you created a role on video, on tape, and then you had to bring it into 3 dimensions on stage. I wondered about the technical transformation, you know, from those isolated scenes that you shoot on a set, a sound stage. I don't know where the hell you shot it, but then to bring that into the continuity of a performance, a stage performance, is very unique. You know, I don't know many actors who've done that for a musical theater.
I don't know how many actors have either.
Was it an easy transition?
Yeah. For me, the easiest, because I started on the stage. And for me, the struggle was to take a stage performance and make it small enough to fit on the TV screen, right? I was used to playing, you know, to the rafters.
Right,
and I had
big.
to modulate that performance and make it okay for a camera right in my face, you know. TV and stage are so different, obviously, for so many reasons. But for me, the joy of doing this material for people and then getting the response right away, not just throwing it into the air and sort of hoping like, is this working? You know, I mean, I remember on set, Cecily saying to me, kind of early on in the process,
Cecily Strong.
Hey, do you think this is funny? And I'd be like, well, I think it is. She goes, I kind of think so too, but I'm not sure. And we both kind of went like, you know, like, what can we do? We're making it, but we don't know.
Right.
And the same kind of thing, for me, the freedom to be on stage and sing a song and not worried, like, am I hitting that little piece of tape on the floor that I have to hit when I'm on camera? You know, because they're shooting it so closely. And I just remember trying to sing that song that I sang in the TV show, which is not the same song that I'm singing on stage. But, you know, that whole song about like you're pointing to a picture of Alan Cumming, you're walking around a very small little room, and it was literally all about like, hit this piece of scotch tape on the floor. You know, now you're gonna move over here. It's like, it's so choreographed.
Right.
I was so scared about like not hitting the tape. I have no idea what was going through my head actually like singing the song. So to me, it's like, I'm on stage. I can do what I want. If I'm 2 feet off, who cares? You know, like, it was fine.
By the way, were you singing live when you were recording for the TV show?
Yes, we had done pre-records, but they didn't use them. They wanted to record us in live. Yeah. Crazy.
But that's why it looks so good. Like a lot of those shows look like you can see people just, even if they're singing, like it's still using a pre-recorded track, and it's just
it's using a pre-recorded track.
It doesn't work as well.
No, I agree. I mean, that's what I love so much about Schmigadoon is that, we were singing and they used those takes.
So was it a case also where you're like, I'm not leaving when the stage version is being discussed? Like, because you were at the Kennedy Center one last year, right?
Yep.
So How did that come about? Because I think you're the only one from the TV cast in this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how did that work out to do that? I mean, aside from the joy of being able to move around and not have to hit that scotch tape.
How did what work out? Being at the Kennedy Center?
No. Just having like the different cast vibe, like the different chemistry with the new cast.
Oh, easy. Easy. You know, when we were in Vancouver shooting the show, especially season 1, we weren't allowed really to socialize because it was COVID.
Oh.
And, we were all isolated in our rooms for 2 weeks before we could even get to set.
Mm-hmm.
So I never saw anybody. and,
Oh, wow.
and then we would get to set and do our stuff.
How weird.
Yeah, and all very shields and masks up until the very last minute. And then they would let us out of our cage and we would do the scenes. We'd be so excited. And then everything gets shut down. And then you go home again by yourself. We didn't really get a chance to interact very much at all, and it was just by us kind of sneaking around the hallways in the hotel, I'm on the 5th floor. I'll meet you, like that. It was so crazy.
It's like what you said, though, it's interesting. It goes back to what you said about finding a family.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a family there.
No, we had such a hard time with that. And especially season 1. Things loosened up in season 2. But again, for whatever reason, my character doesn't get to hang out with everybody all the time. My character gets to hang out with 1 or 2 people, and that's it. And then I never talk to anybody else. I don't think I ever spoke to Aaron Tveit either season. I don't think, who?
Right.
In one scene, I think we walked past each other. I'm like, that's it. That's my big scene with Aaron Tveit, And so you just don't have the chance really to socialize in the same way. But I mean, to me, the joy of doing it on stage is that you're seeing it in real time, no cuts. Everybody's doing their own, as we like to say, everybody's doing their own stunts. You can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something so beautiful about that. I think that's the whole point of the theater, right? That it happens once, it's ephemeral, and you saw it or you didn't. That's the magic. And that all, especially the ensemble, who, as you know, have to come out of the box and do 3 ridiculously difficult numbers right after another.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, look at that. That's Olympic level effort, people.
The show has one of the fastest pace of jokes and gags.
Yeah.
I think on Broadway right now. It is very intense. It's really it comes at you really fast. And the night I saw it, Sarah Chase, who plays the part that Cicely Strong was playing on TV, she had this big scene with Max Clayton, who was playing actually the Aaron Tveit role, and she made him break the night I saw it.
Indeed.
Is that a real danger in that show? Because her line readings were absolutely insane. They were so brilliant, and I don't know actually how I did not break more than he did. That's a gift that I definitely do not have. I can't do it. But is that a real danger in that show?
Is it a danger in the show? Or is it somewhat encouraged in the show?
Well,
there is a moment in the show that we have built in, for Alex and Sarah to improvise. This is a danger in the show because if you're the kind of person that cares about watching people not crack up on stage, this is a bad moment for you.
I love it.
It happens during the picnic basket auction, and literally in the script, it says, Melissa says something mean to Josh. Josh replies to Melissa. It's like that. So, the 2 of them are kind of free to say what they want to say.
Whoa.
They've tried different lines on us and each other, and Cinco contributes some ideas too, but it's kind of a free-for-all.
That's great.
And that's built in. And it's let's try to keep it fresh.
We do have to say something about Cinco. I reviewed, when I was reviewing, a musical that he created, and it was done first at the only theater in D.C. called AD-16.
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious piece about young Jesus in love. I mean, it takes place in the year 16, and now I don't think it's at all sacrilegious or anything like that. It's just funny, and I keep waiting for it to be brought to New York because Cinco, he's just one of those guys. He can turn these funny numbers out. They just sort of materialize, it feels like, out of his keyboard. And I don't know at what point does he play them for you first before you get to sing your song? I mean, is that how you do it when you're at the table read? I mean, I wondered how your number is revealed to you by him.
Okay, well, for this production, a few months ago, when was it? I don't even know. But like sometime before we started rehearsals, between the Kennedy Center and Broadway, Cinco said to me, "And I've written a new song for you. I'm getting rid of He's a Queer One." Okay, I said.
That's a queer one.
You know what I mean?
I know where that comes from. I get it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay. And he was like, "It's going to be a duet with Sarah." And I said, okay, like, you tell me. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Trust you, right? So he says, "Let's get together and I'll play the song for you guys." Okay. We just show up to some, little rehearsal room, in Midtown. He's playing it. We're sight singing it. We go, "Okay, it's good, Cinco. We like it. It's funny." Okay, great. End of discussion. That's all, I was like, this is what you want. You're the creator. I'll do what you want. I liked Queer One very much. And I think it's adorable, on TV. But I sort of think in the playing of the show, it's a ballad in the middle of Act One, and it didn't need to. I feel like it sort of stopped time a little bit.
Forward,
and I was like,
right.
no, I'd much rather have a kind of like a up-tempo ballad with somebody else, because to me, the whole point of doing theater is to be with other people. I really hate one-person things more than anything in the world. Not me watching them, but like me doing them. Oh my God.
Wait, have you done a solo where you were?
Oh yeah. I did an American songbook at Lincoln Center, and I've had to do them, and but like now I'm like, oh God, please don't make me sing anything by myself. I would much rather be with other people doing a show. So anyway, so it's like, oh, Sarah, great. So this literally, like, we heard the song, we're like, we love it. Great. If you and Chris are happy, we're happy. And that's what happened.
Can we talk a little bit about the season 2 of Schmigadoon, which now
sure.
I really want to see on stage because you were in that as well. You were playing Madame Frau.
Of course.
Of course. Who ran? What was the name of the club?
The Crack Club.
The Crat Club. It's so great. With 2 Ks, of course. The Crat Club, which was kind of like a little bit of a spin on... Well, season 2 kind of moved in time. It was more the shows of
Cabaret.
the 60s and 70s cabaret.
60s and 70s, correct, yes.
And so you were more like the Fräulein, was that Schneider from Cabaret? That was a little bit...
I think of her more as Fräulein Kost from Cabaret, honestly. The one who's the whore.
The prostitute.
Oh, yeah, because the Crat Club was
Because Fräulein Schneider's kind of a good egg, I think.
Yes, you're right.
Not so good.
You're right. I got them mixed up. I'm so excited to be speaking with you that I'm getting my Fräuleins mixed up.
No, it's quite all right. I mean, but yeah, there really isn't a good kind of like counterpart. You know who I kind of think I am is, do you know The Sting, the movie The Sting? I sort of feel
course.
like I'm Eileen Brennan's character in The Sting.
Yes, the proproprietor of
The proprietor of the
the speakeasy or whatever it was.
Whatever it is that she runs.
Yes, that's great.
I sort of thought like, my alternate costume should be like an open kimono, but then I thought, well, with me and maybe that wouldn't be so good. So it was good that I got to play this German character because I got to do my Madeline Kahn impression from Blazing Saddles. And so basically my whole thing is just Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles.
Oh my God. No finer reference.
No finer, right? No finer example.
As you're talking, and I'm just thinking, that there's something joyful, and it obviously just talking to you, there is just this joy. I can feel what you communicate is that joy that you're in these things, that you're doing these things. It gives you so much pleasure. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I'm a child. I'm much older than my counterparts in the musical theater these days. I find I am the oldest person in Schmigadoon, like the oldest actress in Schmigadoon, the oldest actor in Schmigadoon. And I remember what it was like starting out in the business, trying to get work, and I felt that my opportunities were very few and far between in the olden days, shall we say. That if you didn't fit kind of like a certain mold of what an Asian woman should be, good luck to you, because there was nothing to do. No one wanted to hire me for The King and I. I completely understand why, but nobody did. And nobody wanted to hire me in Miss Saigon either, because I can't dance. I did fine on the singing, but I really didn't pass the dancing very well. And that these kinds of things, or like one of the girls in chess, I couldn't be one of those Bangkok girls in chess. These were the opportunities.
Right.
Nobody was really thinking like, oh, I want to do non-traditional casting.
Right.
So like I kind of had to play Bloody Mary at age 27 because that's the kind of part I could get. And so to have now, through the passage of time and people becoming more aware, it's like that I get to play parts that are not specifically like I need a short Asian woman, like that somebody could look at my face and go,
Totally.
oh yes, she belongs
Totally.
in Schmigadoon. That to me is the beauty of Schmigadoon,
And I have to say, the first time I ever saw you on stage, you played Trina in Falsettoland at
Right.
the National Asian American Theater Company in like 1998. I saw you in that kind of role before I saw you in anything else, where you might have been more traditionally cast.
Correct. And that, I know, is the greatest thing that ever happened. Because that production showed a bunch of people, hey, look, here's a bunch of people who can do mainstream stuff. You might not be able to see that yourself without have it being proved to you, but we're proving it to you, right? To me, so much of what I consider sort of like the all anything production, the all Asian production, the all Black production, the all whatever fill in the blank minority production of something is really just an opportunity to say, look, we can do it. You can cast us in more mainstream things and nothing's going to die. It's like, you will be okay. You'll be okay. And now, because I have Charlotte from Cinderella under my belt, and I have this, and I have other roles that people have let me play, Mrs. Peachum or whoever it is, whatever it is, that are part of the, big musical theater canon, it's easier for them to go like, oh, she could do this, she could do that. But sometimes until you see it, you don't know it. And that's what's been the biggest struggle, I think, for actors my age. Now, time's passed and people have gotten more opportunities and people are more open to things. And now my contemporaries, people like Francis Jew and Tom Sesma, we're getting these opportunities that we could only have dreamed of when we were younger, right? But it has taken a while. And I sort of feel like if I do anything on the earth, it's to give the example and go like, please, now we have a whole new generation of talent. For God's sake, let them go. Let them do things. Don't park them in the, productions of shows that are really old fashioned and like expect that to be their whole career, because it's not gonna be, can't be. We've lost so many actors to just natural attrition. There just wasn't enough work. And I just feel like I stuck it out and my friends have stuck it out, but that's not enough people. And it makes me mad.
I feel like, for instance, I think like one of my favorite younger generation people in musical comedy and emphasis on the comedy, but not just that, is Ashley Park, who I think is just like remarkable.
She's wonderful.
She's incredible. I mean, she could do anything, and now she could do anything. I mean, she does more TV and movies, and I think that's a bigger problem of just in general where the opportunities are that could, affect anybody. But I think someone like Ashley Park now, I think it's pretty obvious that people will just go see her in anything.
Good.
She can play Eliza Doolittle. She can play whoever.
Right. Stephanie Hsu, the same thing,
Oh, yeah.
People who like have real range. but they're getting the opportunities now that they might not have gotten many, many years ago.
Right. Yes.
You know, and that to me.
Yeah. Stephanie Shu is in Rocky Horror Show right
Rocky
now.
Horror,
And
yeah.
again, she's playing Janet.
Right.
Who's the all-American,
No American girl, you know, and that's all we've ever wanted is that opportunity to be seen, right? And to say, like, we can play a lot of things if you just give us the chance. And so for me, a Schmigadoon is like, to me, that was such a blessing to like, oh my God, I belong in this world. And now other people will feel they belong in this world. And that's what I feel about musical theater in general. It's like, we're here, we're inclusive, come be with us. You know, that's, I think has to be the message. And all white anything will always be the historical default, right? Okay, great. We recognize that, and that's fine. But if I just feel like, so mix it up a little bit, would it kill you?
That's true. Well,
That's a great, would it kill you is a great way to end this conversation. I think you were born to play a character named Florence Menlove. I just do. So it is so much fun to talk to you about all this. We are both so happy to have you on and to share this inspirational talk about your own career. So thank you.
thank you.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. As you know, I owe you everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's very sweet. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for today. Another good one.
Wait, Elizabeth, you have to give us a recommendation of something you've seen recently.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend two things. One is not running anymore, but it's actually available online, and the other one is very much running. So the first one is this weekend I saw Innocence at the Met Opera.
Ooh.
It's an opera by Kaya Sariao. I actually looked up how to pronounce her name, the late Finnish composer, and it was staged by Simon Stone. I think you had loved Yerma as well. He's done
loved it.
quite a few shows in New York,
Yes.
and that was every show by him that I've seen seems to have almost like a life-size house on stage, and that one had a kind of this amazing set that was rotating.
Yes.
Yes. And it's about the aftermath of a school shooting. One of the things that I wanted to say also is that we often complain. In fact, like we were just talking about that, like off mic, about the book problems that so many musicals and operas have. This opera has an amazing book. The book is so good. It's a book by Sophie Oksanen, who's a Finnish novelist and essayist. And coincidentally, I've actually read several of her novels. But Innocence has an amazing book, regardless of everything else. And so what's great about it is you can actually watch the entire thing. It's online in a really good capture from the Aix-en-Provence Festival. It's on YouTube.
Ooh.
So look up
I'm going to watch
Kaya
it.
Sario. It's great quality, and it's under 2 hours, no intermission. It's
great.
It's absolutely fantastic. So you can watch it, and I'll try to remember to put that in the show notes, the link.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, it's been online for like 2 years. It's really, really great. And so the other show that I would recommend could not be more different is I really had a great time at The Lost Boys on Broadway. You can't really talk about it because you're a Tony nominator, but I will say that is such a fun show. That is a spectacle, the likes of which I cannot say that I've seen on Broadway before. There's many things that I really liked about it, but one of the things that I really, really liked is that, so it's at the Palace, which is a huge theater, and the show makes full use of the space. I think there's like an entire floor below the stage, and then it goes up 3 stories high. Like, I think there's 1 story underground, and then you have the stage, and then like it goes up 3 stories. And they really use it. It goes up and down, and it's like completely nuts. You know, and sometimes I feel like spectacle is a word that some people don't like on Broadway, and they're wrong, because spectacle of that scale is really something you need to see. I'm not a particular fan of the movie. I mean, I really, and I have some issues with the show, but in terms of delivering an experience on Broadway, that really delivered. So that's my two things.
Well, I'm biting my tongue. I'd love to join in and discuss The Lost Boys with you. But because I'm a Tony nominator, I really am restricted from voicing an opinion at this point. Anyway.
I suspect you might have thoughts, maybe? Things to say?
Yes, I think you do too.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we're very good about sharing our thoughts. But to hear them, I mean, we're going to do this, but to hear our thoughts about the season, that's going to be an episode to reward or paying subscribers. So
I agree.
we'll do that, but we have like a lot of really great free content as well. And in fact, we're scheduling 2 more that I'm really super excited about. So sign up, support our endeavor because we have a lot of things to pay for because we have a completely really high flying lifestyle. Those yachts are not going to pay for themselves.
Exactly.
And that's where you listeners come in.
Yeah. You heard my podcast partner. Subscribe. Damn it.
Yes.
We're at marksvincentelli.substack.com. And of course, we're on social media using our own names.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, go see a show.